No, that's the one with face coverings.
Oh.
Hello! Welcome to Drunk Doctor Who, Heroes and Villains, Episode 4. And we're talking about Ian. We just did Barbara. Maybe I shouldn't phrase it that way. We just talked about Barbara in one episode. And now we're going to talk about Ian.
We're going to do Ian.
Alright. Ian is the first male companion in the TARDIS. He comes in episode 1 with Barbara and Susan. He's very much of a pair with Barbara, as we discussed in the last episode, and eventually they get married, and that's awesome. Anyway, Ian set a bit of the standard for the male companions, whereas the Doctor, generally speaking, is older.
Frail.
Right, a bit more frail, a bit less able to fight. Ian and then his successors are a bit more physical and able to do more physical things for the group, because back in the day the ladies weren't expected to do them. It's not until Leela that we get a really super physical female companion. She's coming along with the 4th Doctor. And then a little further down the line, Ace with the 6th Doctor.
Cool. And
then a few more in the modern stuff. But back then, Ian was very much the muscle. He was smart too. He knew the chemistry and all that stuff.
That's what you like about Ian.
Huh?
That's what you like about Ian. He's a well-rounded character.
He is.
He'd step up, he'd get physical when he needed to.
Well, like in the Aztecs, when he fights that guy. When he fights the guy with
their champion,
paint across here and all that, no, that guy was the super bad guy, but the champion,
But he was intelligent too. He beat him with pressure points.
Yeah, that was cool. And it's not until the
with this finger.
Right. It's not until the 4th Doctor that we have a Doctor young enough to take on the young man's position in the TARDIS.
Well, we're kind of edging on that with the Venusian Kung Fu and
with the 3rd Doctor.
Yeah, well, they kind of get. He's true. He's been a lot more physical than his other two.
He's a lot more physical, and notice there's no other man in the TARDIS, so he has to be the muscle as well. At this point, there's just, with the exception of the Brigadier and Benton, but they don't travel with the Doctor and the TARDIS all that much. Right. So it's just him and Joe, or him and Sarah Jane. So generally speaking, he's also the young man muscle. Thanks to his Venusian food and whatnot. But yeah, you've got Ian, and then he's succeeded eventually by Stephen. And he succeeded eventually by Ben. And then you have Jamie, who lasts throughout the 2nd Doctor. And then, like I said, the 3rd Doctor, even though he's older than the 2nd Doctor, kind of takes that position. When we get to the 4th Doctor, you have Harry, who is there because they wanted a young man because they didn't know if the Doctor was going to be cast younger or older. And at that point, he's cast as the youngest Doctor ever. So they have Harry for like 1 season, and then Harry goes away, and they keep just the Doctor and Sarah Jane. And it's just the younger Doctor, the 4th Doctor, and a female companion pretty much from there on out. Well, till we get to Adric, and Adric's a child almost.
Oh.
He looks about 15. But he's one of those young-looking 15s.
How old do you think Susan was?
Okay, the character?
Yes, not the actress.
Okay, I would guess if she was a Time Lord,
that's good.
then there's no way to know. Then there's no way to know. We don't know.
Well, like, how old was her character who was going to school? Like, how old was she?
I'd say about 14, 15, yeah. And that's pretty much the youngest companions they've had on the TARDIS. I think Dodo was in about the same age range.
Dodo was,
I'd say she's right about in there. You don't want to get like
Dodo had a job, didn't she?
And Vicky might be in about that same age range. Although I think Vicky was slightly older. I mean, she might have been 17.
Yeah, she's working at the airport, wasn't she?
No, they pick up Vicky on that planet in the middle of nowhere.
Was Dodo the one that worked at an airport?
No, there was that one Serial, the faceless ones.
Yeah, she didn't end up being a companion.
Right, the young lady did not end up being a companion, but she didn't work at the airport. She was waiting, looking for a brother.
That's right. Yeah.
There is a companion eventually that is a flight attendant for an airline. She's really annoying. We get to her with the fifth Doctor, the one with the celery.
Would you say there's a lot of annoying companions?
Well, just like in real life, you have a certain number of annoying companions, you have a certain number of annoying friends, you have a certain number of non-annoying friends. There are some people who are just going to be annoying.
Let me apologize for...
No, you're not annoying. But it's fine. Sometimes you put up with them because they're your friends, or family, or whatever. But let's see. Tegan. Tegan is particularly annoying. She,
like the Jar Jar Binks of the group.
Yes and no. She's annoying because she's always complaining all the time. But the more slightly slapsticky Jar Jar Binks would be slightly more Adric, who is a concurrent with Tegan for a lot of it.
Yeah. So we have two annoying companions.
No, I don't think Adric's annoying.
Oh.
But he is slightly more the...
Clumsy.
Yeah, the clumsy, not to look down upon, but he's mostly there for comic relief, you know. But he's the one everybody picks on. Kind of way they did that for Jar Jar. And there's another one there, Nissa, so there's 3 companions, 2 girls and a boy. And Nissa and Tegan are both, well, Nissa's probably about 20, Tegan's probably about 28, maybe 30, you know, probably about 28. And Adric's, like I said, about 15, 16. But it makes for a good range for the companions.
Yeah.
But that's
very diverse.
Yeah, and that's 5th Doctor stuff. And he goes through a lot of companions.
A lot of them die. It's a dangerous profession.
Well, no. Only 2. Like the 1st Doctor had only 2. The 2nd Doctor doesn't have any companions that die, does he?
I don't think so.
No. And none have died on the 3rd Doctor that you've seen as of yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. But no, occasionally companions will die. Ian does not die. Ian makes it back home, like we said last episode, with Barbara.
He's too cool to die.
Finally in the chase. He was in 77 episodes, the first 77 episodes.
They escaped the Dalek episode, which is where all the companions died.
Oh, the chase.
Yeah, the chase.
Yeah.
So it's good they got home before.
When the Doctor sends him back home in the Daleks version of the TARDIS. Yeah.
And the whole time they really were trying to get home. They didn't really ever want...
They enjoyed the adventures, especially like in the Romans. They were all like laid back and relaxed and stuff.
They finally had a vacation.
Yeah. I like that about the Romans. They actually get a couple 2-3 week vacation, lounging in Roman opulency. But eventually, of course, they get to watch Rome burn, and they are captured as slaves. Ian and Barbara both. And they go through a whole bunch of adventures between hither, tither, and yon. But yeah, Ian's a good, strong, morally founded. You know, he's got a good, strong moral foundation, a good, strong core. And like I said, he's the muscle, which is necessary until the 3rd Doctor becomes his own muscle. And the 4th Doctor as well, and the 5th Doctor.
Well, he's more of a pacifist, though, right?
Yeah, he's a bit more of a pacifist, but he's a young male. There's no other young male. Most of the time in the TARDIS, unless you want to talk about Adric, but he's treated as a child. And there's another young male, Turlock, I think his name is, but he's...
Is that an alien?
He actually is an alien.
Sounds like an alien name.
Let me see exactly what his name is.
Unless he's from Mars.
Turlo. He actually is an alien, but That doctor's more of a pacifist, but he occasionally does that. Does a little bit physical. The sixth doctor, once again, does not have a male in the TARDIS because he's young enough. Once we get the third doctor, they're spry enough and young enough. They generally don't have men in the TARDIS to be the muscle. They are the muscle. Although occasionally have men like Harry and stuff. It's mostly the doctor and a single young female. And the seventh doctor has Ace, and the seventh doctor is not muscle, but Ace is the muscle. The seventh doctor is the one up, further up. Yep, right there.
He kind of looks like
McCoy.
Like a stooge to me.
He actually is. He was a children's performer and a bit of a clown.
Well, that's why.
Yeah, exactly. And then he took over the role of Doctor Who, and his first couple companions, there is no muscle at all. And then he finally gets Ace, and Ace beats up Daleks with a baseball bat.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Cool.
She's a young lady who is just daft punk as anything,
That sounds very cyberpunkish. I wouldn't think that they could be beat up by baseball bats.
You wouldn't think so either, but she does it. Hey, what do you know? Might be a different strain of dog.
Must be an aluminum bat.
What?
A strong bat.
I don't think aluminum's a strong. Well, I don't remember what kind of bat it was, but it's a baseball bat. But anyway, so Ian, good strong character, good moral fiber, helps out the doctor. A gentleman helps out the doctor in a lot of situations.
I really like just the well-rounded characters. They're like very James Bond-esque. They can be physical. They can be smart.
Mm-hmm.
They're gentlemen. It's hard for me to pick favorites, but when it's someone that I can kind of look up to as a hero, yeah,
right,
like someone I want to be myself. It's I really liked Ian, and then they had Steven to replace Ian.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like Steven.
Correct.
And then Steven got replaced by Jamie eventually.
Well, Ben and then Jamie.
Yeah. Ben. Yeah, I like Ben.
Ben was.
I like Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie's one of my favorites. He was there the longest, the most episodes for a companion. I love Jamie.
My cop out is I combine Ian and Barbara and say both of them were one of my favorite companions.
Well, Ian and Barbara were both really good companions. But yeah, Ian's the last of the 4 original in the TARDIS we're getting. And then we're going to move on to some villains.
Yeah.
With Daleks, because who cares about the cavemen in the first serial?
We must talk about Ugg.
No, we're not about Ugg.
What was his name?
Okay. But for villains we've got Daleks.
Cybermen.
The Cybermen.
The Yeti. That's a recurring one.
Yeah, the Yeti. The Sensorites.
The Sensorites.
They were not a recurring villain. We've never seen them again, but they were interesting.
They were interesting.
Let's see. I guess we could do Nero.
They were unique because they were very unique.
Oh, and let's see, the Meddling Monk.
Yeah.
He's a recurring villain. He happens twice.
Is that our what do you call it? Our Barda entry? Do they have to be in more than one serial?
No, because the Celestial Toymaker was only in one serial.
Oh, he's
a fantastic villain.
He should come back. Basically, this is just going to be us complaining about villains that never come back. Why hasn't this one ever come back?
Let's see.
Or why haven't the companions ever come back? Do we ever see Barbara and Ian again?
No.
Sad.
No, we never see Barbara and Ian again. Some companions do come back. Sometimes they come back for the multi-doctor episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they come back as holograms of themselves.
Like Star Wars ghosts.
Well, kind of, but they're played by the same actors and actress. Jamie comes back 3 different times.
Nice.
No, wait.
Because he's popular.
Twice. He's not there in the 5 Doctors. Instead, the Brigadier is with the 2nd Doctor. so that Sarah Jane can be with the third Doctor, because the fourth Doctor, they wanted Sarah Jane to be with the fourth Doctor, Brigadier with the third, and Jamie with the second, but then the fourth Doctor didn't come back and they had to use him with Romana too, out of Shaba. So he wasn't there, I don't believe, for the 20th anniversary of the Five Doctors, but he was there as a diversion in Caves of Andronazi, playing a hologram of himself, and he was there in the Two Doctors, which is with Jamie and the second Doctor and the Sixth Doctor.
Now, Jamie and others had their memories wiped when...
Jamie and Zoe.
But not Barbara and Ian. They have all their...
Right, not Barbara and Ian. Well, that's because they were sent back by the Time Lords themselves. And
Barbara and Ian were sent back by the Doctor.
Right. Yeah. And we didn't even know the Time Lords by the end of the first Doctor. It wasn't until the end of the second Doctor that we really get the Time Lords. But yeah, and there's a modern companion, Donna, who, the one we're talking about, the redhead, who has her memory wiped. And it's really sad. But yeah, it was good. But yeah, we have a bunch of and Cybermen. They're good bad guys.
Oh, absolutely.
For villains, but we also have some more companions to talk about, like Vicky and Steven.
I feel like we're gonna have to shoot some of these villains episodes more than once, because we have so much more of the Daleks we haven't seen yet to talk about.
No, we just...
And the Cybermen, there's a lot that I haven't seen. Because they come back eventually.
Yes, there are some reoccurring villains that reoccur very frequently, and there's some reoccurring villains that you don't see for 30 years, and then they come back like the Zygons.
So eventually we might have to film a part 2
for Daleks part 2 or Cybermen part 2. Yeah, I can see that.
We'll look back at it.
I can see that. There are just certain good guys and bad guys that do have reoccurring parts. The Brigadier comes back several times. And there's another good companion, him and Sergeant Benton, to talk about. Yeah. Oh, the Master. The Master's a constantly reoccurring villain.
Yeah, almost too much so. I really liked his role. I really like him. And I liked him being, filling that slot of the reoccurring villain.
The Moriarty to the Sherlock, Dr. Sherlock.
But lately there's almost been too much the Master.
True, but he was very much a third Doctor thing.
Yeah.
And then he comes back for the fourth Doctor, and then we see him again with the 10th Doctor.
Later.
Yeah, much later. Wait. He's there a little bit with the 5th Doctor. Just a little bit. Yeah, just a smidgen.
Do you think Ian had PTSD after? Because he didn't have his memory wiped. And they went through some traumatic stuff.
I don't think so. They seem to be handling it fairly well when they get back to London.
Mm-hmm.
And Ian is too young to have fought in the Second World War.
But not post-traumatic stress disorder from war, but from his very stressful experiences with the Doctor.
He seems to handle it all right. He and
Barbara.
Barbara.
To the death with the
Aztec. There's an occasion when Barbara or Susan, especially in the Sensorites, kind of have breakdowns. But Ian seems to hold up just fine. That's when women were still allowed to be fragile, rather than women have to be men. All the good traits we love in men, now we have to love in women and hate them in men, which is the modern thing. Women have to be strong, resolute. They have to be able to do everything that we used to want men to do, and now we encourage that in all women, and we discourage it in men. In fact, we don't even want women to look like women anymore. Hence the women in the latest Terminator movie, which 2 of the 3 look like men, and then you got the one that looks a bit feminine,
What's your take on stay-at-home husbands?
I mean, it's fine if that's what they want to do. I have no problem. I mean, if you want to do that, great, more power to you. I have no problem with it. It's not me. It's not my life.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate the trends in media that tell me I can't be the way I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying, you can't be masculine. You can't open a door for a woman. You can't compliment her on her hair or her dress or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be a traditional male. And I'm like, no, that's what I want to be. You know, you want to be a stay-at-home dad or a non-traditional male, great. More power to you.
Is it okay for me to compliment you on your hair?
I have hair? No, but that's the thing. It's like there just seems to be a war on masculinity, except insofar as women can be masculine. They can be everything a man's traditionally supposed to be, but men can't. And we want women to be that. We want to uphold that in women, but we want to discourage it in men. And that's been a trend this whole century, the 21st century. And it's really bad.
I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's like a very loud minority. You have like
the problem is it's infiltrated
10%.
everything.
Yeah, and then you have 80% of people who are just they go along with whatever the status quo is because they're like, oh, I don't want to be offensive. I don't want to offend anyone. If this is what everyone's doing, sure. But it's not what everyone's doing.
To me, it's live and let live. Just let everybody be everybody. But you have a school system that teaches specifically to girls, and men don't learn very well under that system.
There's a lot of problems with our school system.
Right. So you have women graduating at twice the rate men are graduating from college. And it's women who are bringing home the bread now. It's women who are, and that's fine. I don't care if we want to do that. I just don't want to tell people they shouldn't be, you shouldn't be masculine men if that's what they want to be, It's great. If you want to be an effeminate man, if you want to wear a dress, if you want to color yourself a woman, that's fine. Do you be you, but let me be me, I want to be a traditional male, and like Ian was a traditional male. I want to do that, and that's who I am. I am very traditional in many ways. But just you be you, let me be me. Don't tell me I'm a horrible person because I'm a white male, even though I've not done anything horrible.
I've been playing World of Warcraft, and there's been a lot of guilds popping up in World of Warcraft that advertise themselves as being like a safe place, LGBTQIA plus friendly, and there'd be people recruiting for these guilds, and I whisper them, I'm like, I'm a straight white male, is there a safe space for me in the guild? They're like,
no.
They're like, you don't need a safe space.
What are you talking about? We're the ones most attacked these days.
Like, can I be invited? They're like, no.
Yeah, see? No, the problem is, the problem is a lot of these people are viewing the world through the 1950s, when strong women were discouraged, where gay people had to stay in the closet, where all that stuff happened. And they don't realize we're 70 years on, and gays are completely openly gay. Somebody comes out now, and it's like, yeah, we knew, dude, who cares? It's not like it's a big thing that you're declaring. It's not the world of the 1950s. This is the modern age where, yeah, dude, we knew, okay? You like show tunes. We knew. It's it's like, nobody cares anymore. We don't care if you're black. We don't care if you're white. We don't care if you're straight. We don't care if you're gay. We don't care if you're bisexual. We don't care if you're omnisexual. We don't care if you're a transvestite or a transsexual. We don't care if you're male or female or non-binary or whatever. We don't friggin' care. Just be you. But these people are stuck in this mindset of they're the persecuted ones. And it's a mindset of intersectional victimhood, where you have different ranks of who's the most a victim. And they can all do their own thing, but white men can't. Like, okay, so I saw a TV commercial yesterday. I was watching my Saints play.
This podcast just got real woke.
Oh god, no, it didn't get woke. The woke's crap. I want to stay off of politics. Why the hell are we getting on politics? Okay, but Screw it. No, we're getting off politics. Forget politics. Everything politics are in everything now. We need to have
It's hard to avoid, yeah.
some things without politics, but you're right, it is very hard to avoid anymore.
Yeah.
No politics.
I feel like where I go on the internet, like I'll listen to a podcast or be watching, someone play video games, and there's just this expectation that everyone feels it's necessary for them to comment on things or to how do I describe it? I don't know, something bad happens, and then I'll be like, man, that's a tragedy, that sucks. And then I'll go on the internet to just kind of escape and forget about things, to watch something that makes me laugh.
Right.
And they're like, let's be serious for a minute. It's like, no, I don't.
I'm here to laugh.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah,
and then they're like, I just want to speak out against this thing that happens. It's like everyone assumes that you don't like this terrorist thing that just happened.
Right. You don't have to virtue signal. It's like we don't assume that if you don't speak up against, I don't know, racism, that you're a racist. No. Used to be...
But that happens a lot.
Yeah, it's like, if I don't go out and I don't say I'm not a racist and the racism is horrible, suddenly I'm a racist because I don't speak out against it. No, the default should be everyone hates racism. The default should be everyone hates sexism or homophobia or Islamophobia. Nobody likes that crap. Nobody. But we don't have to sit there all the time and wear it on our sleeve. Wear all of our emotions. I hate this. I hate this. And repeat that every day. Doesn't have to be the disclaimer on our email. You shouldn't have to say that all the time. Or suddenly, if you don't come out and say you hate this, then you must be for it. No. What?
So there's this female athlete who's really cool, really good. I don't remember her name or what sport she played, but
you don't remember what sport she plays?
Everyone loved her, and then overnight, someone was just like, "Hey, why haven't you ever spoken out about this or that?" And then it just became this bandwagon, and all of a sudden, everyone hates her because she just stayed quiet. She's like, "I'm not gonna reply to that."
Well, it's called cancel culture.
Yeah.
And if you don't toe the line on everything politically, if you don't agree with them 100%, you're canceled. And the same thing happened with J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling was very liberal. Like she said, Dumbledore was gay. Great, cool, don't care. But there are hints in the books and movies. Sure, whatever. Once again, don't care. But apparently she believes there are only two genders.
Yeah.
So she gets canceled. And they all hate her now.
She's very much, on the liberal side of things. And then overnight, all of a sudden, liberals hated her. I'm like, what happened? What? And then I looked into it, and it's like, she said something about, if you have an experience what it's like to, be pregnant or have children, there are certain aspects that you just don't know what it's like to be a woman. If you weren't born a woman.
Right, because you can't.
All of a sudden, and I'm like, that's an opinion to have. That's a conversation. We need diversity of thought, and let's talk about that. And then everyone hated her.
Right. The problem is that people who want diversity only want diversity on things that you can't choose, like gender or race or age or what have you. As soon as it becomes something you can choose, like your thoughts, they don't want diversity on it because they only want their side to be okay.
Thoughts are too offensive.
To them, yes. It used to be sticks and stones, will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Nowadays, you need what you term about a safe space. Yeah. So words, my feelings are hurt. Give me a break. All right. Can we talk about Ian? All right, Ian. This is your therapy session every week, isn't it?
You drug us off topic.
No. It started with your safe space on World of Warcraft.
No, it did not start with that.
I don't know. We'll watch the video
later
to determine it.
You got into politics.
Yeah, I don't want to get into politics. None of this should be about politics.
That wasn't me.
Politics has its time and its place, which unfortunately seems to be everywhere these days, and I'm just trying to keep it out of our show, out of our podcast. But
I want the record to show I did not get us off topic this time.
I want the record to show, go back and rewind and watch the video, and we'll find out, because I think it was a murky creep on both sides. Okay. Sounds good. Anything else about Ian? These are supposed to be short podcasts.
Short podcast. I think we should wrap it up.
Okay. Next time, do you want to do another one?
Another one tonight?
Yeah. Or do you want to save it?
We'll see. Yeah.
Alright. So next time we'll probably do
We'll talk about more
Daleks.
politics. Hey, Daleks.
Daleks. Exterminate.
Exterminate.
Oh,
Terminate.
that'll be fun. So, wait. Hopefully next Monday we'll get back to the regular Drunk Doctor Who.
Yes.
And what's the next one we need to do?
What's next?
I'm not sure if you're in frame.
I think I am. The camera's zoomed out a bit. I'm in frame.
Okay, we did the Sea Devils last.
Oh, that's a good one.
Serial 63. That was a fun one. The next one, and this is the nice thing about keeping it, the numbers in line with the serials.
Yeah.
The Mutants will be 63. And then we have the Time Monster, which is the end of the season.
Are they specially gifted people? Go to Charles Xavier School, have mutant powers, fight evil?
Not exactly.
No?
Not exactly.
I like those mutants.
But yeah, so the Mutants and the Time Monster, we should do those two before we do another one of these.
Yeah.
And then we have the last season of two more seasons of the 10th Doctor. So I've done 3 of the 5 that he was in.
10th Doctor?
Sorry.
What?
Season 10, the 3rd Doctor.
Or the last.
I've been drinking.
He has 2 seasons left?
Yeah, 10 and 11.
10 and 11.
Oh, and just in case you, for some strange reason, watch our show but no other Doctor Who stuff at all, which would be kind of insane if you get your Doctor Who news from here.
You'd be awfully confused.
Yeah, Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor, looks like she may be leaving the show finally.
Oh. She's only, 2 seasons?
3 seasons. She's filming series 13 right now, which is will be her 3rd series, and the Daily Mirror, which is a United Kingdom newspaper, although they're a bit not quite National Enquirer-ish, but they're a bit more New York Post. Which is not bad. New York Post is really good. Much better than the New York Times. But they sometimes have some wild stuff. But their track record with Doctor Who is pretty decent, actually. They're saying it looks like she's leaving after Series 13.
You heard it here first. Maybe.
Probably not. You probably heard it here 20th. But it looks like she may be leaving the show finally. And I just hope Chibnall goes with her.
Who do you think is next?
I don't know. That's the thing. We don't know who the 14th Doctor is going to be. The BBC has not confirmed anything about her leaving or anything.
Are they all British? Do you have to be British to be the Doctor?
Every single Doctor has been British. And to me that's part of the character. Although to me part of the character was being male, and they made a female. I'm like, get Andrew Dice Clay to be the Doctor. I mean, he doesn't have to be male, doesn't have to be British. He's about as non-British as you get. And every single one of the Doctor Who's companions, I believe, have all been British, even when they were not playing British characters.
Is Idris
like
Elba?
Perry Gilliam?
Yeah.
Perry. She is a British actress who plays an American companion in the show. And in fact, the Doctor picks on her for it. Because she says something Z. And the 6th Doctor's like, Z? Oh, you mean Z? Because that's how they say Z, is Z. And he picks on her about it. But the 6th Doctor was a bit of a jerk for the first season. Like, he literally shows up in his first episode and chokes his companion.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's male and she's female. He's just like, ah! It's like, what the hell?
That took a dark path.
It's pretty dark, yeah. He and the 11th Doctor both follow some dark, 12th Doctor both follow some dark paths. And they start out fairly dark, but they get better as they go along. And I think we did the chart last time on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the third, and with the renewal the popular one,
repeating
the following the popular one that was still good, the dark, and then the clown, and it worked from the 3rd to the 7th, and then repeated from the 9th to the 13th with Whitaker. And but it looks like it may not get canceled this time, so we'll see. Also, there are currently no dates whatsoever for the U.S. for Doctor Who releases for 2021.
Someone made a recurring list like that just recently. It was France winning the World Series?
World Cup?
I don't know. Wherever they won recently.
Soccer would be World Cup.
So they did that a long time ago, and then they did it just recently. And then Tokyo Olympics get canceled. Tokyo Olympics got canceled again. Australian wildfires, and we had the Australian wildfires again. And then the last point was Japan bombs America. So they're like, it's coming. It's coming.
That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Apparently, our norm is going to be 2 of these companion, Heroes and Villains episodes, and that's fine. Hour and a half. Whatever.
This one might have been a lot shorter.
Should have been a lot shorter, despite the fact we like Ian.
We do like Ian,
but when we get to the Daleks, we'll have a bit more to talk about because they're there for bloody ever. But yeah, okay, we'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll be doing, what was it? The Mutants.
The Mutants.
The Mutants. Alright, bye-bye.
Sing our outro song.
Yeah, tell us in the comments what episodes you like with Ian and his best roles in the show. Probably Marco Polo.
Favorite Ian moment.
Yeah, favorite Ian moments.